It's a crisis for America's youth, especially those who are poor and live in cities. A lack of access to safe places to play sports. Baltimore is one of those cities where children are underserved. In 2017, the Aspen Institute's report on youth sports in the city concluded, quote, Baltimore's defining struggle continues to be the loss of 2/3 of its rec centers. Torrey Smith knows the reality of the situation. The former NFL receiver played college football at Maryland and then was a star for the Ravens. Now, he and his wife Chanel are doing what they can for the youth of Charm City. Torrey and his wife Chanel are the founders of the Level 82 Fund, which is working to benefit the community. Just last week, there was an announcement. In partnership with the Baltimore City Parks and Recreation Department, the Smiths are reopening the Hilton Recreation Center in West Baltimore, which closed 12 years ago, leaving a void for the neighborhood's youth. They'll be responsible for running the center's programming, which goes beyond sports to include cultural and educational offerings. In a video statement about the reopening, Torrey Smith said, "We're excited about the responsibility to help others and be hands-on with the community and helping to change the neighborhood one family and one individual at a time." Even now, the rec center is reestablishing itself as a center of community life in West Baltimore. This week, 3 Thanksgiving meals were distributed. Pamela Green, the president of the Carroll Neighborhood Association, said, "Now with Level 82 involvement, we can provide services and a safe haven for the children." Chanel Smith said, "We really believe that there's so much potential here in Baltimore, and we can't wait to get started and make a change." And for the work they're doing in their adopted hometown, Torrey and Chanel Smith are our heroes of the week. And we're joined now via Zoom by Torrey Smith. Torrey, thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate you having me.
Torrey, how did you and your wife decide that this was the way you were going to give back to the community?
You know, when I retired, we had always been very active in every community that we were in, whether that's Philadelphia, San Francisco, Carolina, or obviously Baltimore, where we spent a lot of time. But we knew there was a bigger opportunity, and when I retired, we would have more time, being that we were going to finish in Maryland. And the opportunity to run Hilton Rec Center came about, and it's a huge responsibility. You know, we've had after-school programs in the past, we've done one-off events, but there's nothing like being involved in the community. I tell people all the time, we literally had a visual representation of what it looks like to not have. We had after-school program in the school, and they had these nice glass doors that other students from the school would look into to see what was going on, but they couldn't be in our program because we could only have but so many kids. And they weren't any different than our kids, but we just had opportunity, and the kids that were in our group had kind of special privileges after school. And so having a center, we had the opportunity to not only help one child, but that child's siblings, that child's parents, and hope that we could change the community one neighborhood at a time.
You know, we said earlier, Torrey, that the Aspen Institute, in a study it did about youth sports in Baltimore 3 years ago, said the biggest problem is the lack of rec centers and how many have been closed in the past decade. What is the situation for kids in Baltimore when it comes to recreation from your point of view?
You know, parents and people who grew up in the city say that a lot. You know, they say a lot of the troubles heightened when the center started to shut down because of financial issues, and you know, we're just trying to do our part to help bring that back to life. I mean, we literally just finished our Thanksgiving event the other day, and families are coming by like, "We need this. Like, I grew up here, and the kids don't have any of that. This will help save lives." So that responsibility is huge, and there's a lot of truth to that. You know, Baltimore Rec and Park is trying to change the way they're doing things, which is why we decided to partner with them. They're trying to be very progressive and trying to open up centers and trying to do programming the right way. But over time, you know, government has its issues, and they were struggling. So we're looking forward to bringing new life into the community and doing our part in running Hilton Rec Center.
What is the plan for getting the center fully up and running? Obviously, the work has been slowed by the pandemic.
Yes, you know, it takes a lot of fundraising and stuff to get it going, but we believe in the people in Baltimore City and those who are supporting our mission, and they know the need that is there. But it has great bones. Needs a little TLC in terms of fixing it up. But we're actually looking to expand onto the building as well. You know, you mentioned the importance of recreation. You know, we're adding programming from 3D printers, graphic designing, a music studio, trying to get kids into STEM and engineering and coding, trying to expose them to different things, and hope the next great tech student is right there in our center and right there in our area. So we want to expose them to that, but we also want to get them active physically as well. And by having a gym, you're able to allow them to have games. And there's also a school right there, which is really why we decided on this location that currently doesn't play any home football games or any home basketball games because they only have a caffeinasium and the field isn't big enough or safe enough to play football games there. So we're trying to change the entire community, not just those in our center, but that school as well. So we plan on redoing the football field, building on the gym, adding other classrooms so we can really change the community as a whole.
So this is about so much more than sports. This is really a multi-pronged approach for the community. How do you and your wife Chanel plan to stay involved?
We'll be there. Hilton Rec Center over in West Baltimore. We'll be teaching programs there. Our kids will be in some of these programs as well. And we're all in as a family. We don't live in Baltimore City, but we feel like in order to be the change, you can't just complain about things and just go back to where you live and just leave it at that. Like, we plan on being heavily involved, becoming the fabric of that community as well, and joining and help elevating what's already there. And so we're looking forward to showing that the power of collaboration is real, that it can work. We don't believe there is room for ego when it comes to philanthropic work, and that's what we're trying to lead and show the example there.
Such an important project. Torrey Smith and Chanel Smith are our heroes of the week. Torrey, thank you so much for having joined us.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me.